Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Today, we will look at an instructive game in the Sicilian, and this is going to be probably my either my last or second to last video before I play in a regular tournament for the first time in 41 months. So I hope to show you a lot of victories in my next video. But in the meantime, let's learn from this. A student of mine and I played together against someone rated in the low 1500s, and we got Sicilian defense. E4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, and we play the main move pawn z4. Also possible, of course, is bishop b5, but we played d4, which is the point of knight f3. Black usually takes, which is what happened here. We took back, and now this is important. Black should not take, and in this game we will see why not. In this position, Black can play many moves. He can develop his other knight. He can play e6. He can play g6 to bring out the bishop. He can play d6. A lot of moves are possible, but taking is not one of them. Why not? Well, the answer is because the queen is actually pretty good here. There is an expression, do not bring your queen out too early. And that is usually true when there is no good way to kick. That is usually true when that queen would get kicked around. In this case, your queen is quite good. Black cannot really exploit the queen being here. In addition, it points over here, which means Black cannot fianchetto. In addition, it also means Black cannot bring out the bishop, because then this pawn will be free. Okay. Black played d6, which is kind of chess. We developed the knight. Nothing special here. Black developed his knight. But now, this move lets us play e5. And the problem for Black is, what do you do with your knight? You can't go here or here. You can't go here. Knight h5 is a mistake. How can it be punished? I'll pause and wait. And the answer is pawn g4. And the knight is just trapped. So let's go back. So the only move is for the knight to go right back, which is what happened. So now we have a lead in development. And now we developed another piece. Why here? Well, here it doesn't do too much. Here it really doesn't do too much. But here at some point Black will castle. And this bishop will make a lot of sense. Knight e7, the knight is coming back. And here an interesting idea, if white could make two moves in a row, is knight e4 and knight checkmate. Because the king is surrounded. The problem is, if we do this right away, the knight will move, probably attack our queen. So we decided to play bishop g5 first. Okay, Black plays h6. Why did we play bishop g5? Well, it pins the knight. Black cannot play f6. If he plays h6, as he did in the game, we drop back. And to get rid of this bishop, which is what Black did, by playing g5, he weakens a lot of squares over here. Our move was not best. Our move was still good. We dropped the bishop. But in this position, we don't need to drop the bishop. There is a better move. And the move is knight e4. And the point is, this knight can go either here or here, and Black cannot stop both of them. So that's a very useful idea. Whenever someone attacks you, you don't need to automatically retreat. At any rate, we drop the bishop back, and in addition to these weaknesses, Black has another problem. If he castles short, this diagonal is really, really open. Okay, so Black attacks our queen. The queen saves itself. And the reason we moved here instead of e4 is because we wanted to keep this square open for the knight. Okay, black develops the bishop, double attacks the pawn. The pawn is double defended, but it could potentially be triple attack. For the time being, we castle. That's a good rook. Black triple attacks this pawn. And here we came up with an idea. Knight b5. Why knight b5? Well, the knight wants to go to d6. Well, it looks like it blunders this pawn. But if black takes, we check, and the problem for black, well, we could also fork, by the way, but we could check if he goes here, we fork over here. If he goes here, well, that's not really comfortable for the king. At some point, we can even put our queen here. And for the time being, and for a long time, black cannot get rid of this knight. At any rate, black logically decided not to allow this, and he castled. But of course, now he walks into this open diagonal, and we played queen e4 right away. Of course, f5 doesn't work, because as all of you know, there is a rule called au passant, where you take this pawn. And we took that pawn. To review the au passant rule, if your pawn is on the fifth, and your opponent moves the pawn to squares, on the very next move, you can take it like this. You can only do it if the pawn moves to squares. You can only do it when your pawn is on the fifth. You can only do it on the very next move, right after this happened. So we took this diagonal reopens. He takes back with the rook. Again, if he takes back with the bishop, he gets checkmated. So rook takes, check anyway. Another check. Notice all the pieces are attacking, and black is really, really behind in development. The king moves here. Now I'm going to pause and ask you how you would continue this attack. And the idea we came up with, I hope you were able to find it, is bishop e2. The bishop wants to come into the game. He cannot do it from here. So it's a really cool move, which actually my student Avi found. The bishop goes back with the idea to go forward again. These moves, when you attack by moving backwards, are very hard to find. So very impressive find by Avi. And this is very difficult to deal with. Black brings the knight back with the idea to be able to block. But now there is a new problem. We attack the rook, and the problem is behind the rook there is a bishop. So the rook moves, and here now we can play bishop h5. Not so much because it pins the rook to try to win it, but because it pins the rook to try to win this bishop. Black takes the knight, but that's not relevant. We took the bishop. Again, black cannot take back because of the pin, so the king runs away. Avi wanted to check, so we checked. It doesn't do too much because we just repeat the position now. The king has to move here. He cannot block with the knight because the knight is free. Again, this is pinned. Okay, so we repeated the position once. After the king here, we decided to take the rook. He takes back, and now we were a little bit low on time. Our move is still really good. The best move is simply to take. And the logic is if the king goes here, this is checkmate. The crisscross mate. If the king goes the other way, then bishop here, and there is no way out for the king. This will be checkmate on the next move. Instead, we rushed a little bit, but that was because of time trouble, and we played bishop here right away. The point, of course, is the knight is threatened with checkmate, and the knight cannot move because there are two different checkmates which the knight needs to cover. But of course, black plays queen f5, and this is of course really win for white, but there is still a lot of work left. We checked. But of course, he just blocks with the knight. And now we bring in one more piece with the idea of this. And here, of course, black is losing. These chess pieces have not played yet. And this is threatened, so black should deal with this. G4 is the best move, but black gets greedy, and now he's losing. The queen is lost, and checkmate happens very, very soon. He took and a couple of lessons from this game. Lesson number one: if you're black, most of the time you do not want to play this move. There are a couple of exceptions, but vast majority of the time this is not a good capture. The general rule is the queen does not want to come out if it could get kicked, and if it doesn't get kicked, it's actually a really powerful chess piece. Lesson number two: get all your pieces into the game, which is what we did. Notice we already have 4 pieces. Black only has 1 because he developed and went back. And there are long-term consequences to playing moves like this. In the short term, it looks great, but in the long term, make sure nothing can happen on this diagonal. This game is a very good example of things happening. And the idea number 2, remember the squares. If they're not covered, the knight could get to one of those squares. Many of those things happened in this game. I hope you found this game instructive. Please like, please subscribe. Have a wonderful Thanksgiving. Wish me luck this coming weekend. And I will be back soon. Thank you.